What is up everyone, it's Dan from Guitar Talk here, back with another review video. Big thank you to all of you that have done it so far because it really does help us grow. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and roll that intro. What is up everyone, so today we are looking at the brand new for 2023 PRS SE McCarty 594 guitar. Checking out the specs at the body on this, you've got a mahogany body with a maple cap, a flame maple veneer over the maple cap, 2 volumes, 2 tones, coil splits, 2-piece PRS bridge, 3-way switch, and then the pickups are PRS 5815 LTS humbuckers. Checking out the specs at the neck on this, it is a mahogany neck with a bound rosewood fretboard, 22 frets on this. It's a 10-inch radius with a 24.594 inch scale. That's where the 594 comes from in the model name. You got vintage style tuners on here and obviously the bird inlays as well. The 24.594 scale length is a new addition to the SE range this year. It's been with the core line for a while, obviously. Does this feel different to a SE Custom 24 from last year, that kind of stuff? Yes, to me it does feel quite noticeably different. I don't know what it is, but obviously you've got the set tail piece on here and not the trem as well, but it definitely feels stiffer and harder to play, but in a good way where there's more fight back when you're playing, so you can really dig in more and get some more dynamics out of the guitar. Nothing wrong with the older versions at all, but this definitely to me feels like a step up in production again, which PRS seem to do every year with all the releases they bring out. So this is a welcome addition to the SE range for me. Finishing on this straight out of the box, I said this last year when I reviewed some SEs, I said it the year before probably as well. PRS just keep raising the game. There is nothing you can poke holes in on this. It is finished perfectly. The paint job has been applied really well. There's no nicks, blemishes, anything like that. The color on the top has been done. It's great. The ends of the frets are nice and smooth. The tuners have been installed really nicely. There is nothing that you can poke holes in this. So it is around £1,000 in the UK. There are guitars that are more expensive than this that have come out the box worse than this. This is a great example of what I expect at this price point when you get something like this out the box. So top marks of PRS there. So going over some of the sounds and tones that you can get out of this, these are the 5815 S-Line pickups. S-Line is basically the SE version of core line pickups, so Far Eastern made copies of the American made PRS pickups. 5815, if I remember correctly, means the style of pickup you would have found in 1958 but redesigned and rebuilt by PRS in 2015, if I remember correctly. They are a very dynamic sounding pickup. There is plenty of articulation there. They do some really nice clean tones, especially with the coil splits activated. And there's a nice amount of separation when you pile on the gain, so you can really hear all of the different notes. They are very, very good pickups. Are there better pickups out there? In my opinion, yes, there are, especially when you dial the volume back a bit that retain a little bit more high end. But is there anything wrong with these pickups? I could take these pickups on stage and play this guitar through a big cover set covering loads and loads of different styles, and this is the only guitar that I would need because these pickups and electronics are going to cover it all. So the setup on this straight out of the box, again, it's been set up very, very well. The intonation is in, the action is nice and low. It doesn't choke out anywhere, so you can do big bends at like the 15th fret on the B string and it does not choke out. This is a very, very well set up and built guitar. Straight out of the box, I don't think you could ask for anything more unless you want to tweak the setup for personal preference. There is nothing to change here. The strings did take some stretching in because they are sort of relatively cheaper strings, but once they are stretched in, the tuning stability on this and everything is great. Going over a few differences between this and the core line equivalent of this model. So obviously this has got Far Eastern made electronics. The whole thing is obviously Far Eastern made, so that is a cost saving measure in itself. If you flip it over here, the plastics sit on top of the body rather than the more refined routing on the core line models where these plastics would sit flush inside the body. And you've got the veneer on the top. Obviously the core line's got a solid maple top. This still has a solid maple cap underneath. It's just that they don't have to worry about what the pattern on the maple looks like because they apply the flame maple veneer, which is what you are looking at. And then other than that, one of the big differences I would say for me, and I actually prefer it on the SE, are these strap buttons that they use. So these have still got some nice big strap buttons that once you put the strap on there, unless you're flinging the guitar around all over the place, likelihood is these are going to keep your strap on fine. The core line models have got these big flat PRS discs on them where your strap, good luck if you can get a new strap over those discs. Normally you've got to get a screwdriver out, undo the strap buttons, put the strap on, and then screw the strap buttons back on. They are great for holding the strap on, but then the problem is you get to the end of the gig, you go to put your guitar back in the case and it doesn't fit because PRS cases are nice and snug and it won't fit the guitar with the strap on. So you got to get the screwdriver back out again and it's a big faff, which is why myself and a lot of people replace the lovely strap buttons they put on core line PRSs. So I actually prefer these strap buttons and wish that they would use these on the core line. Other than that, I would just say it's probably the finishing. The core line models, they used to use V12 finishing and now nitro, whereas this is more your kind of poly style finish. So there's a quality difference there, but some people prefer poly, some people prefer nitro, so that is up to you. Would I play one of these live? Now, if you gave me one of these, as I normally say, and said, you've got to go on tour for a year and you can only play this model of guitar, would I be happy? I would have no doubt that this guitar is going to get me through loads of different styles of songs. It's going to play great and it is going to hold up really well. I would be more than happy to play this. unless I had songs where I had to use a trem. Obviously you don't get that option with this, but other than that, I would be more than happy to take this and play this live. Is the guitar worth the money? Now, here is the thing that some people cannot get over, is the SE on the headstock. I used to work in a guitar shop years ago, as you know, and I remember there was a guy that came in who played a Gibson Les Paul live, and he said, I'm looking for a backup guitar that is just gonna live at the back of the stage in a rack, and I'll barely use it, but just something as a backup for my Les Paul. If I'm playing somewhere really rough where I can just take that guitar instead and it's gonna sound great. What have you got? So I took him over to the PRSs, took him over to the SE single cut, in this case, and said to him, check out this. And he just looked at me and went,
Dan, I'm in my 40s and I've been playing guitar for 20 years. I am not playing a guitar that says Student Edition on the headstock. Don't show me these guitars again.
And he was quite annoyed. Personally, I think that he was a bit short-sighted because we never stop learning. We're always students of the game. And the SEs, even back then, at the price point that they were at back then, were fantastic guitars, and they still are now. And this in the UK is around £1,000. I reckon throughout the year they're probably going to go down in price and obviously appear on the second-hand market. But even at £1,000, if you said you've got to go to a shop, you've got £1,000 to spend, and you've got to buy a guitar brand new with that money, then this is going to be a serious contender at the top of that list. This, to me, plays and sounds better than some guitars that are twice this price. So is it worth the money? To me, yes, it is. Is there anything that I don't like about this guitar? I will try and be 100% honest with you, as I normally am. This guitar, I don't think there's anything that I don't like. The tuners feel great, they stay in tune, the neck feels great, the pickups are nice and dynamic. I don't think there's anything that I don't like. Is there anything I would change? That is a different story. So obviously, as I've said, PRS neck carves, my go-to is the wide thin profile, but that's not exactly something you can just change on this. But the pattern vintage profile neck that they've got on here is very, very comfortable, very playable, almost Les Paul-like, so it's nice and familiar feeling to a lot of people if you are new to PRSs. The pickups, as with anything, there's nothing wrong with these pickups. They are very dynamic and sound great, but people like to change pickups, so I might change these myself and put something else in there that's more suited to what I wanted to do. But there is nothing wrong with these pickups. If you gave me one of these stock, I'm going to be able to get loads of different sounds out of this, especially with my fractal, but I just might put something different in there for me. But that is different to, is there anything wrong with it? No, there is nothing wrong with this guitar at all. So there we go, guys. That is the PRS SE McCarty 594 guitar. It's a fantastic addition to the SE lineup of guitars. It seems to be growing more and more every year. So there is a fantastic range that you can get at that level of PRS. This is a great guitar in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And other than that, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.